Good morning. I'm Carlton Sharp, pastor of Faith Christian Center Church right here in Beaumont, Texas. And we're here on what's happening in our neighborhood. And again, today, my special guest is the mayor of the city of Beaumont, Mayor Becky Ames.
So glad to be here. Thank you so much.
Hey, we have a two-day event. Yesterday we talked, and today we're going to get back into some information. So I'm so glad to have you here today.
A lot going on, and I just want to share it with the citizens out there because I think it's very interesting, and we have something for everyone.
Let's get into it for today.
Okay.
Now, let's talk about some of your capital projects that you have coming up. I mean, now there's $37 million in capital budget this year that I've seen, you know.
Yeah, we have, see, and that's something that
in
people...
the public works, I'm sorry, in the public works
in that part.
Yeah.
But another thing that people sometimes don't understand is how capital works. Capital is basically a plan. It's not saying we are going to do this. So we might have, like when we start our capital plan, we might have 17 projects that are funded. We know we've already funded them. We might have some in the design phase, but they might not be funded. And then we might have some we would really like to do, but they're not funded or designed.
In your wish list.
And that's exactly right. So just because it's in the capital plan doesn't mean it could change. We could take it off. We could say, oh, you know what, this was important 3 years ago, but it's not important anymore. Yeah. And a lot of people think if they see it there, then it's going to happen. And that's not always the case.
Got you.
And so people will come up and say, you know, animal shelter or something. We don't need to spend X on an animal shelter. Well, I think last time I was here, I talked about we were a no-kill city. It might be on there, and we'd like to at some point if we can, but that doesn't mean we're really going to do it. It's just like something that one council member can lobby to get something on there. The rest of the council might not totally agree because we haven't voted on it yet. We voted to put it on there. It's a piece of paper, but we haven't voted to fund it and design it.
And it takes 4 votes
to get anything.
To get anything done.
But that doesn't mean that every council member agrees with everything that's on that capital plan.
Now, and also people might need to understand is that some of the money that is not from just taxes, but is federally funded. Some of these projects.
Correct. Like, for instance, we have community development block grant funds, and that comes from the federal government. And we can only spend that on certain things. Like we could spend it, it's low to mod income for the most part. And we can only spend that on certain things. Like our water fund and our sewer, you can't just move it around. Like hotel occupancy taxes, that's a big one. Because a lot of people will see, oh, we're spending money on advertising in magazines throughout Texas to try to get tourism in. People don't realize how much that does for us.
That's right.
So those hotel occupancy taxes.
When that baseball field is filled up out there.
It's great. It's great. And so many different things that we do. And so you can't like take money out of hotel occupancy taxes and hire a police officer. It has to stay in that fund. And you know, we're talking about, are we on facility? Oh, we're still on the budget.
Yeah,
so when we get on facilities, I'll talk about that a little bit and how we can use those funds for quality of life initiatives.
Gotcha.
We can't very well use it for police or fire. We can't use it to build a street.
Right.
Like if you remember, this is a good example. Like if you remember when we had the natural gas line at our municipal airport.
Correct.
It was like $50 million.
Yes.
There was a law in place that said you could not take money out of an airport, whether it was derived from a gas fund or whether it was derived from a sale, and put it in to anything else. It had to stay in that airport. We had to go. We did. We had to go to the well, we got help from our senators at that time, Hutchinson and Cornyn, and we were able to get an exception. But we could only use it on transportation. So that's how we would have never been able to do Washington Boulevard. That was a $33 million project.
Wow.
And that came out of that. Because we got them to say, you have an exception, you don't have to spend that in your airport because we're really not a commercial airport. We're landlocked. There's a lot of different things. And we ended up doing 7th Street with that, Washington, Northwest Parkway. We try to do different new streets and rehab. And when we do major rehabs now, or we put a new street in, we do sidewalks.
Now you know what? I seen you on the news last night.
Okay.
Talk about the Dowling College to Walden project that you might want to do.
I think no one on council. I can speak just based on what they said yesterday, but I don't think there was anyone on council against it because it's growth. But we disagree on when we can do it and how it should be done. I disagree on now because it's a 3-cent tax increase. You did the whole thing.
Yeah.
And
Because you got to get the money from somewhere.
you do. It doesn't just grow on trees.
It just fall
But
out
the
sky.
other thing too is, it's been our capital plan for about 14 years, and that is from College Street to Walden. And we've got the right-of-ways and everything. It's been on the capital. Like I said, the capital's a piece of paper until it's designed, until it's funded, and that's what it's been for 14 years.
Right.
So the council member for that ward did lobby to get the council to take it all the way to H10.
Okay.
And the council said, okay, we'll put that on there. But now there's some that want us to start on that end, and it's only been on there for 30 days. I have a problem with
Wow.
that. I don't think that's right. So that's now, not saying that anyone's right or wrong. I'm just telling you what I think about it, and I think it doesn't look good.
And then, like you said, it will require a tax increase to it.
Unless we can get another FEMA grant or something like we did for Calder. And we work on that kind of stuff all the time.
Yeah.
Just like the Dallin Road overlay with the sidewalks that went in recently.
Correct.
That was because we had federal funding we one time had federal funding to do that extension to Walden. But what happened was we couldn't get clearance on it, and in that amount of time, the cost doubles.
Ooh.
And so, but the money, we would have lost the money had we not done it on Dallin Road.
Yeah. You have
And
to
so
use
a lot
it.
of people say, why are you putting sidewalks on Dallin Road when my street over here is, because otherwise we lose that money, and it's a very well-traveled street. It's got a lot of sales tax on it, businesses. And so that's the reason.
And with that project, even, the land was donated.
Which one are we talking
We're
about?
talking about the Dowling to Walden project.
The right-of-way was.
The right-of-way.
The right-of-way was donated. And the people that own the third extension that we just put on the Capitol, they said they'd donate the right-of-way. But that makes sense to the developers because they're going to end up making it on the sale of property.
Exactly.
So don't let them fool you.
Exactly. Okay. Another project that I've seen on the public works projects is the College Street roundabout. We used to have a roundabout on College Street.
We did not. We had a traffic circle.
We had a
There's
traffic circle.
big
Okay.
difference. I've taken a lot of heat on that. I would love to talk about that. First of all, I brought that back as a best practice from the U.S. Conference of Mayors.
Okay.
It didn't necessarily have to be in that location, but to put it in the capital plan, it has to have a location. You can't just say, I want to put in a roundabout. There are some that think that a roundabout there would be great because the way it works, and well, if you're really interested, and anyone that's really interested that's listening to us, or if you Google roundabout versus traffic circle, huge difference.
Okay.
It's how you yield. The traffic keeps going. The accidents are way down. The cost is about the same as a traffic light, but long-term cost is less because you don't have the maintenance of those traffic lights. So if anybody travels on I-10 and they go by the Buc-ee's in Katy, TxDOT just put in a roundabout.
Really?
And they have like 5 in Louisiana now. When you get off the freeway, you've got roundabouts because you merge. And where I found it was when I was in a meeting, and the mayor of Cornell, Indiana. It's about half the size of Beaumont, about 80,000 people, 40 square miles where we're like 800.
Wow.
I'm sorry, 400 square miles where we're like 800. And they have 130 roundabouts in their city. People are fighting because they say, we want one in our neighborhood because it's less wear and tear on your car. You're not stopping and going. You're not waiting for a traffic light. That's why 11th Street and College, sometimes it's really backed up.
It's
but you really have to understand the difference. So people are saying, what is wrong with y'all? You took the traffic circle out for a reason, but now you want to do this. It's not the same.
It's not the same.
And it is a best practice in many cities, and you're seeing it across our state, and TxDOT is putting them in on the freeways.
Wow.
The freeways.
And again, that's just on the list.
It's on the list. It's not funded.
It's not funded.
And we could change the location.
Yeah.
You just have to put something, and the staff really thought that might be a good location. But that doesn't mean that's where we want to do. I wish that we had knew as much about this as we do now when we built Northwest Parkway. That would have been a great location to show people what it really means.
Mentioning Northwest Parkway, Northwest Parkway and Major Drive.
Yes, connects Major Drive to Folsom to Parkdale Mall, right.
Now, on the Major Drive side, I mean, the traffic is, I know you're considering putting a traffic light there.
Yes, Major Drive and the North Parkway.
Correct.
Yes, we are. Because, and I think it should be at any time. I mean, it's been approved.
Okay, good.
Yeah, if it's not already. I thought it was, but I mean, I can't see everything all the time. But yes, it's definitely approved.
Okay.
It's pretty busy. But the thing is because Major Drive is not a city street, it's TxDOT, we can't just do it without going through them. And sometimes that makes it take longer.
And that's what people need to understand, because I mean, people just think, just put a light.
You don't. Don't work that way. First of all, you have to do a traffic study, and and if it's not, I mean, we were talking about this yesterday. I mean, we work with so many different entities. We work with DD6 on drainage. We work with TxDOT on speed limits, on lights, on so many things. So sometimes we might be able to do something quicker in the city because we're smaller, not statewide, but you can't.
Well, man,
not always.
Some people want you to snap your fingers and boom, it's done.
I'm telling you. Like I'm bewitched, right? And going on my nose.
But because you have to do all the studies and get with other entities, it takes a little bit longer time.
It does, and that's one of the things. Like Major Drive, a lot of people don't know that Major Drive is a state highway. It's TxDOT. It's not the city. Now, sometimes we might partner with them and doing some different things, but that is definitely not a city road.
Okay, okay, that's good to know.
Yeah.
Okay, now let's talk about the water and sewer projects. Again, I seen on the website. Go to the City of Beaumont website, pull up the 2020 budget, and you'll see all of this in there. That there's $13 million of water and sewer projects for the 2020 year.
Yes, water and sewer, but that's not capital though. Okay, so that's just operations.
Okay,
that's operations. So capital, we have money that is, it's not just on the piece of paper. We have some water and sewer projects that are capital that have been funded and designed. And so the money that we spend on water and sewer is much more than that. But that's just like, capital projects are like where we would go in, like we did. There was one on Bigner that took a lot of those homes out of flooding recently that we did. That was capital. That wouldn't be reflected in our operating budget. Gotcha. The 289 that we're talking about is our operating budget. That's our expected expenditures.
Gotcha.
Yes.
Okay.
So so we and then I talked about the streets. Like the council approved a $10 million loan to spend on neighborhood streets. That's why you see so many of them happening. And I know everyone wants their street. Yeah. But we do. We actually published again yesterday. It will be on the internet. If it might not have been when you looked, because we just got it yesterday afternoon. Right. And it's publishing all the streets that we are going to do in the next few months.
And mentioning that, so when you do a street, the people in that neighborhood need to expect delays because
and especially if it's raining. Yeah, because they have to shut down. They can't do everything when it's raining, obviously. But I did have someone. This was a first, so I got an email, and I won't say who. I don't even remember her name. And usually people are saying we need to do more on streets. When they want more.
Right.
And this one said, "I'm so sick of driving around Beaumont when all streets are being repaired." And I'm thinking,
wow.
And I wrote back and I said, well, it was kind of pleasant. I thought, well, we can stop, but no, we're not going to do that.
No, we're not going to stop. No,
because we can't. It's going to be on forever.
Exactly. It's a continuous project.
It is. It's just like anything else. You don't redo your kitchen and expect it's going to last for 40 years, or you.
Don't tell my wife that.
Yeah. I said you don't redo it. Now, if you haven't redone it yet,
Yeah.
I hope she's watching.
So now let's talk about facilities. What we got going on with our
Oh
facilities?
gosh, I want to make sure I don't forget anything. But okay, so the Lakeside Center is the best year center was on 4th Street.
Correct.
So we built a Lakeside Center adjacent to the event center,
Correct.
and it is unbelievable. It's beautiful. It also has rental space in it, kind of like the event center,
Okay.
like there's smaller rooms that people
Got
can
it.
rent. But the big thing about it is it is so popular with seniors. It's Monday through Friday, it's open, and we do about 500 people a day. It
Wow.
got so crowded that we have to charge people from out of town. They're not happy about it. To me, the city
Wow.
taxpayers paid for that. So we, because it's free.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of different programs, whether it be, training on technology, yoga, there's a weight room in there, ceramics, square dance. I mean,
So now, is that just for our seniors?
anybody can go.
Anybody can go. Each citizen of Beaumont.
Because you can't discriminate.
Right.
Even against us
Right.
youngins. We're really young, right? We're seniors. But yes, anybody can go. But
Wow.
it replaced the best year center, so it's mostly seniors that go. But anybody can absolutely go, and some younger people do go every once in a while because it's got a really nice. It's just nice. It's very nice.
So if a business needed conference room space
For smaller than the
smaller-
event center.
right? They just
Yep.
call.
There's 2 of them, and then there's an auditorium. And the auditorium is bigger, but we rent all of those. Obviously, if there's something going on with the center during the day, we might not be at an event because the auditorium's used a lot.
Gotcha.
But on weekends and at night, yes, absolutely.
Now,
and I've been to a couple of events there already.
Mayor, the event center. I mean, that
Yeah.
thing is booked a year out.
You
Plus,
know, Pastor, that's what gives me courage sometimes. When I'm feeling like, gosh, I don't feel like I can do anything right. I remember when we were building it.
Yeah.
And I was the mayor.
And you
I
caught
had
some
just
flack.
Nobody gives flack about it anymore. I caught a lot of flack. Becky's ditch and all these things, and I struggled with it because I think we're trying to be progressive, but then it's hard to balance it.
Right.
And so now, though, when we're looking at doing something progressive and we have naysayers, a lot of times the naysayers are louder than the people who really. Sometimes that's the truth.
Right.
And so I think of that and think about how successful that it is.
I mean, you got to get it's a year and a year plus out.
Especially on weekends.
On weekends,
yes,
I mean, my goodness.
It is. Even on Thursday nights are pretty busy too, and in December, every night.
Every night.
Yeah. And so weddings, it's a beautiful venue because of the lake and the fountain. But, the Lakeside Center overlooks it also. And the 2 smaller rooms, one's on the bottom floor, one's on the top, and top floor has a balcony that overlooks the lake.
Wow. Okay, so do you have any other facilities?
Well, we partnered with Rotary to do the Centennial Playground, and so the city has taken over that playground now, but Rotary paid for
Okay.
it. It was the Centennial Project, and that's right there with the event center and the skate park, very well utilized.
Very.
The skate park was an anonymous donor.
Wow.
We just manage it and keep it operating. We have a planned food truck plaza for that area because when we do these events, the food trucks come in and it's like a plaza like you see in other cities where they can come and plug in. They have their worship. And then Fire Station number 1, that's beautiful in the Harrius Park area.
Yes.
That is a state-of-the-art fire station. The people that the
is
firefighters
huge.
that work there, it's huge. It's beautiful from the So that was a new project, and then we just did 19 new bus shelters throughout the city. You'll see these new, really cool-looking bus shelters,
Okay,
19
okay.
of them all over the city. We're working on a welcome sign, but it's going to be a smaller sign because when TechStop does I-10, all the changes they're going to be doing in Beaumont, we're going to have to move it, so it's smaller. But one that I'm really excited about is the Terrell Park Community Center. The Terrell Park Community Center, as you know, has been there forever, and it's really deteriorated, and it's a beautiful, historic-looking building. And so, and this is where the hotel occupancy tax is coming. So if it promotes tourism, we can use hotel occupancy taxes. It's a 12,000 square foot building. We are going to renovate 6,000 feet and then do open on the rest of it. And people will be able to use it, but it's going to be a birding center. I don't know if you realize or not, or if you've been there, but at Cactel Marsh, where we put the boardwalk in, a 900-yard boardwalk that is promoting birders from all over the country, not just the United States.
You wouldn't think that was a big thing.
It's huge.
It's huge.
And the neat thing about that is we built that boardwalk, and if you haven't been there, please go. You have to see this. You won't even feel like you're in Beaumont, especially on a pretty day. What it originally was 20 years ago, it was a water treatment. Part of our water treatment facility still is that developed a wetland that enhances wildlife. They love it. Aquatic mammals.
Wow.
250 to 300 species of birds. There's a bald eagle out there with babies.
Wow.
You just see all this. So people from all over the country and actually the world come to see that. So when they stay in our heads in beds in our hotels, we get, percentage of that hot tax. And so we're using hotel occupancy taxes or hot tax. And we're using that to renovate that. We would be able to do that. It's $2 million. And so we're using it because we have that fund, because we have so much trouble related to that.
So when is the projected completion of that project?
It's done.
It's done.
It is done. And it is beautiful. And the other thing now, the Garden Club came in and decided they wanted to do an education center adjacent to it. And they ended up paying and raising money and putting in this beautiful education center for students.
Wow.
Like they can take field trips out there, and they have this education center where they have classrooms, and it's got beautiful artwork in it from a local artist of birds and everything. Wow. And then there's this little thing called a passport where children can get this passport and they spot the different types of birds. It shows photos. And when they check them, we have these little birds, they're stuffed birds of each kind, and when you squeeze them, they make the noise that the bird makes.
Wow.
So it's an education for the kids.
Wow.
And so it is just wonderful. And we've got archery out there now, and we've got horseback riding.
The horses are back.
Yes, horses are back, and they're doing great.
Yeah.
And the people who are running those stables are doing an excellent job.
Yeah.
So we're Terrell Park is really booming. But if I could just get one thing out of this, one person needs to go to that boardwalk. You go past the stables, take a right. That boardwalk is beautiful.
Wow. And you didn't mention the golf course out there.
The golf course?
My goodness.
Yes, the golf course. We just approved for some new
15 of them.
buggies. Yesterday.
golf
That
carts.
was a big discussion.
I seen that one there. I was like, oh, let's go play some golf.
Yeah. And we're working next on some drainage out there because it was designed with absolutely no drainage, and that was a long time ago, but we're going to fix that.
Okay, Mary, we got about 5 minutes left, and
Okay.
so we're going to go through these next few real quick. Smart technology.
Because I could certainly talk forever.
Hey, well, I tell you what. Yeah, we'll just keep on talking, and we'll do something in a second.
Yeah.
All right?
Okay. So what did you ask me about?
We're going smart technology.
Oh, smart. Okay. So this is exciting for me. I was chosen one of 10 mayors in the United States at no cost to the city, no cost to me, to go and participate in a best practice forum regarding smart technology. And that is in November.
Okay.
So I haven't gone yet, but we had to select a program. Like when we go, they will, for free, all these people that are big in this field will help us develop a plan to do things we want to do.
Okay.
Mine is CityWorks, and it is a program that basically pulls all the departments together, where citizens could even have an app, and you can do everything. Like, the 311 app is a big deal, but that would be in with where you could pay your water bill, where you could do this.
Yeah.
And it also uses real-time devices to grade your streets.
And who gets so if I download the app on my phone.
We don't have it yet.
Well, when it comes, when it comes,
yes,
we'll be able to download the app on our phone, and
hopefully that's the plan.
And then we'll be able to go down our street in Finland?
Oh no, that's a separate.
Okay, okay.
That's a
I was
certain
gonna say,
part.
that's pretty good.
But what you can do is, if you see a big pothole in your street, you can snap it. It takes a photo. You send it to the right department, and it's followed up, and you can follow it through the process.
Wow. So okay.
So you can see what's happening with it.
But people will be able to pay their water bill.
Everything we can do that online. But you'll be able to pay with the phones that everybody pays.
Because everybody's doing transactions on
so
phones
it's
now.
And I don't honestly understand all of it yet, because I had an hour phone call with it's the New York Institute of Learning who puts it on. And through the U.S. Conference of Mayors, and they select 10 mayors. This is the second year. They did it last year. They had 10 mayors that went last year. I don't even know what other mayors are going, but I got a letter asking me if I wanted to participate. And you always do it when they ask you, because you get free information.
Yeah.
Free people. We don't pay anything for all this work that they do. And I don't pay for the trip or anything. And we get to go to New York University and talk about best practices for cities.
But I think also it's going to increase the city revenue real quickly, because if you're using an app, and that's where everybody's at right now.
It is.
With the technology. I mean, the city gets the funds.
So like I said, I don't understand how it all works yet, but I actually got with our chief of IT and our city manager, because they wanted us to come up with a project before we got there. Not really have the whole project developed, because we don't want it developed, because it's what we do for 2 days.
Yeah.
They make you promise that you will stay at the meeting all day for 2 days. I mean, like long days.
Yeah.
And to do it.
So you won't go
I
shopping.
won't get to go shopping. No. If I do, it'll be probably at 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock at night. And maybe not even that. But it's exciting to me, It's exciting.
That is exciting.
We'll come back and we'll see how that comes out. I hope it works great. I did talk to a friend of mine that's mayor that did it last year, and she said it was excellent.
Okay. All right. Now let's go to the economic growth.
So you probably saw in the news just this week that the polyethylene plant on Highway 90 cut the ribbon on their new plant, which is billions. It will be billions of dollars in the future. And this is the third project ExxonMobil has done in the last 18 months of major cost or major
renovation, all that. Yeah.
Yes. And so this one, they make plastics out there. They're little pellets. They took us through the plant, and basically it's going to increase their capacity by 65%. And so, I asked him, I said, well, what do they make with these little pellets? And it's
everything.
It's so diverse. It's plastic, but it's so diverse. So that, and then we got, the ones that are in Port Arthur too that affect us, because people work in Port Arthur live here, vice versa.
Right.
The region, we have to look at the whole region when we're talking about economic growth. And you've got Total, Motiva, all of those. And that's why it's important that we also look ahead in our infrastructure, because we need to support this.
Yeah. And that's part of our
jobs.
That's part of the operating fund. How you get your money as a city from the industrial tax base.
For instance, the ones that aren't in our city limits. ExxonMobil is, but we do taxes in lieu of, where we do a percentage because they're really not in our city, so they don't have to pay the taxes. But we do a contract with them that they pay us 75% in the first couple of years, and then it goes up to 80.
Right.
So that's how that works. But yes, it's good, but it's also jobs. We have the lowest employment rate that Beaumont ever had right now.
I was talking to someone the other day, and I said, it's a shame if a person says that they don't have a job when it looks like everybody is hiring around here.
They are. If you check it, it's just everyone. And then that also important on that same note is the census that's coming up. We need the growth in the citizenry. So please, if you get something on the census, make sure you do it. I'm actually going to an event at McCabe Roberts, Ava and Rodney Graves.
Yes.
They're doing a Get Out the Census this Saturday, I think 10 o'clock at their church, and I'm going to go to that. But different organizations are doing it, because we need people to understand how important that is to our economy.
Yeah, and that's good for people to understand. Listen, when the census comes around, because that determines the federal funding that we receive.
Yes, absolutely.
It impacts a whole bunch of things.
It does, and because the federal funding is typically done on your population.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay, so let's talk about miscellaneous stuff.
Well, I want to say that coming up at Christmas time, 180 years, we celebrated last year,
Wow.
1838, December 16th was our birthday. We're going to do another huge tree lighting at the event center. It's either the 5th or the 6th of December. I should have looked it up. It's whatever that Thursday is. Or Wednesday. I don't know. But it'll be all over. But if you don't have the app, Discover Beaumont, you can do that, and it's free, and you can look. Just scroll. It tells you all the concerts. We have concerts all the time at the Julie and the Jefferson. A lot of them are sold out. Oktoberfest we just had. Trying to think of any of the other ones I might have forgotten. Oh, Mardi Gras.
Mardi Gras. Oh, I have that under the events.
So we got Mardi Gras coming in February.
Yeah,
That
yeah.
is done deal. It is. We have an agreement. It's done. We will have that. It'll be downtown. The Friday night movies, the film festival, the craft beer festival sold out in 2 hours.
Wow.
So we have a lot going on.
So does that be like?
Well, craft beer has gotten to be such a big deal. You know, the people that make the beer in their houses and stuff. And we've got 2 new craft breweries here. One is I think it's called Pour something, and it's over. I wish I would have written it down, but it's over there by New York Pizza Pasta downtown. You know, in that area.
Yeah.
And then there's another one on Calder. And, there's just a lot of young people, our millennials, that are very interested in craft beer. I
Wow.
think. Yeah.
Wow.
So it sells out. I did go to it just to see what it was like, and it was really nice.
Okay, so let's back to the Mardi Gras event. So you guys came to an agreement, and how long is that agreement for?
Any agreement that the city does, we can give notice and get it out. We don't. I mean, I believe it's for like 5 years, but that doesn't mean. I mean, one council can't bind another one.
Right.
So therefore, we have to have outside, and they need them too. So, I mean, I think if it goes well, which if you went to our 4th of July celebration, we really know how to handle a lot of people and do things. Our facilities people do an excellent job in traffic control because like we had the Symphony of Southeast Texas at the 4th of July this year, along with 3 other stages on the other side, and the kids were playing in the playground. It was a beautiful night.
So are we going to do that around the event center again?
Yes, there'll be a fenced-in area for the Mardi Gras. There will be a parade every night, and it's a 3-day event. So Thursday night, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, there'll be things going on, and there'll be and it's family friendly. Even though a lot of people think of Mardi Gras as like they do in New Orleans.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna. The fenced-in area will be like that, but they have never really had a whole lot of problems. But we have a police station out there set to be out at the grounds.
Right.
And then there'll be the other section will be like rides for the kids and different things
On the
and
grass
like
area?
carnival. Yes.
Yeah.
So in the parades, there'll be 3 parades.
So that whole area will be blocked off, and
That'll be blocked off, but then we'll block off a different location. I think we're going to have 2 parade routes.
Okay.
I haven't seen that yet. It might be finished, but I've seen it. But there'll be different parade routes, but they'll all be published. Get the app, Discover Beaumont. It'll give you the dates. It gives you the dates, the times, what's going on, all that kind of thing. And Mardi Gras is very exciting.
That's good.
It is. And a lot of people, I had no one call me and didn't want it. But it's a family-friendly event too.
Yeah.
I mean, you're going to be able to have the people that want to go out and have fun and dance and listen to the bands and do the typical Mardi Gras, throw in the beads and all that stuff. But you're also going to have a lot of family-friendly fun.
That's good. Okay, Mary, is there anything else that we need to highlight at this time together?
Yeah, I don't think so. We're still a no-kill city at our animal shelter. You can go out there and adopt on Pine Street.
Yes.
We wish you would. We still are transporting probably 40, 50 animals a week to northern states that really will adopt anything that we spay, neuter, and ship.
Right.
They're healthy, and so I'm really proud of that too, because when I was first elected, we were a pound and put a lot of animals to sleep, and we don't do that anymore unless they're really sick.
Wow.
And so that's a real progressive city initiative to be a no-kill city.
Well, wonderful. Well, listen, I want to thank the mayor for joining us today, man. This has been great to be able to have the mayor come today and talk to us about these initiatives and the all the things that are happening in our city. And listen, take advantage of all the things that are going on. Go to the city website.
Yes.
Get all the apps that the city has, and you'll be up to date on what's happening in our city. So I want to thank you for joining us, and I want to thank you for joining us
Thank
on
you
what's
so much.
happening here in our neighborhood.
Thank you, Pastor.
And we will see you next time
Okay.
on
Bye-bye.
our broadcast.
Thank you.